Hello, 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 hello. Good evening. Good evening, good evening. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the show, one and all. Good evening. It's so good to be back on here with you. We got a special show lined up here this evening, and I'm so glad to be connecting with you in the internet world, in the land of challenging disruptive. Let me tell you, I cannot wait to no longer be in this space. See my background, people. I'm trying to see you. And right now, listen, it's rough. It's rough. Welcome aboard, guys. This is the Jael Digital Show, and we have a wonderful guest joining us here. I feel like this is his home because he comes here every year around this time. That's the only time we see him on this show. And as much as he might try to not want to be here, but he always gets sanctioned. And oh, that is where he's going. We got an exciting show lined up for you. Welcome aboard. Let me know where you're locked in from. Drop your flag. Let me know where you tuned in from. I would love to know. I love to know who's listening, who's viewing. And share the live, share the live, share the live, share the live. All right. It is a rainy day. It's been a rainy day in Dominica. So apparently, those of you who don't know, if you live in the diaspora or if you live in a different island that's not Dominica, we were on the flood watch today for majority of the day, and it's still pouring outside. Um, I'm hoping my internet remains on point. That's what happened. Like, listen, I literally have to make sure it's provided. Make sure we have internet, right? So we're gonna hope for the best tonight that we don't get shut down. We're not going to be on for long. We're coming on to talk to you about something that's happening, and I'm so excited to be joining you guys. Share the live, share the live, share the live. I'm giving you all some time to share the live before we get this show on the road. I'm trying to connect so I can see who's on. I'm trying to connect on my phone so I can see who's on, who's joining me. Yes, I see you guys coming on. Share the live, share the live, share the live, share the live. If you come on, Ollie doesn't know it's Ollie, no? It doesn't take off no blood from Ollie. You just hit the share button, share the live so somebody else knows and gets in. People like somebody met me the other day and they're like, Joe, I must be on the live, but he doesn't comment. I know, but I seen you on the live. So even if he doesn't comment, somebody else seen you on the live too. Like, just share the live. If you're enjoying the show, share the live and show that shows if you're supporting me. Because if you're not supporting, because you cannot support. That is silence, right? Stop supporting in silence. Support out loud. Share the live right about now. Share the live and let us know that you're here and that you're locked in. Welcome to the show and thank you very much for tuning in. The show is sponsored. Yes, the show is sponsored. I gotta big up my sponsors. My sponsors who've been on board with me for this season. Big up to Purchase Pizza. Big up to the National Cooperative Credit Union. National Cooperative Credit Union have launched the relaunched the $10,000 uh, uh, cash. Get it now. Get it now. The Independence Edition, right? Affordable interest rates, no hassle, no security. Of course, special terms and conditions apply. You can get it now, get it fast with the National Cooperative Credit Union. There's no excuse for you to not get your work here done this year. There's no excuse for you not to go to all of the events that are happening this year. And I think Flavors of the World starts off the event, the independent season event before even independence drop. But yes, we have a lot of stuff happening, and if you'd like to be part of it, you can. And you don't have the extra money, or you probably waiting for a big money that's coming soon, but before it comes, you want to get it before. And besides, who's using their money these days for anything? Like credit is where it's at, right? Somebody tell me, yo, why are you even using your money for anything? Like, get use your credit card, you get a loan, Go ahead and check out the NCCU our community financial partner. Good evening, Ingrid. Welcome. Good evening and blessings to Ingrid. I hope you share the live. I hope you share the live. Thank you very much. I see you are watching. I feel like calling all the names. Those of them that are watching in completely and not sharing live. I just feel like calling all you. Like hiding in secret way. Like as if or you hiding from somebody. Also want to big up Turkish pizza. Turkish pizza, let me tell you. This pizza is my children's favorite pizza spot. They love themselves. Let me tell you, the other day, Giovanni, I sent Giovanni to get pepperoni pizza for him and his brother. And Giovanni finds that he ordered cheese pizza for Jazz. And I'm like, Giovanni, why would you order cheese pizza for Jazz? Like, Jazz was the one that introduced you to pepperoni pizza. You order a cheese pizza. You ate a cheese pizza. You ate it the whole time. You didn't know how good the pepperoni was. You might come on the spot and introduce you to pepperoni pizza. And all of a sudden you find you most pepperoni eyes and order cheese for the boy. That was livid, let me tell you. That didn't cry. He was livid. He's like, how could you? I was like, I was going to send Giovanni back. I was, I was going to tell him to send him on a bus to go back to Rose to get pepperoni pizza for Jack. Yes, so that is definitely the pizza of choice. We got to purchase pizza for students to get a student discount once they flash their discount card. So thank you very much, Purchase Pizza, for supporting this channel, the Jael Joseph Live Show. I appreciate you guys. I love you mucho. Let's get this show on the road. Thanks, Ingrid, for sharing the live. Thank you very much for sharing the live. I truly appreciate you. You're a ride or die. The other ones are just on here for the ride. If they don't have not sharing the live, they're just on here just for the ride. They're not dying with you. No. You're a ride. You're a real McCoy. Let's bring on Mr. Simeon Joseph, who is representing for the Flavors of the World, second edition, year two. And they're ready for a bang. Let's say goodnight to Simeon Joseph. Hi, Simeon.
Hi, Jael. Good night to you and your listeners as well. Nice to see you again. Nice glasses.
Thank you. Like my friend Wendy would say, how you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good every day.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Good to see you.
Yeah, it's very good to see you too. Good to see
Do me
you,
a favor.
listeners.
I see you trying your best to make for the glare on your glasses not to show up, but you're looking like a dwarf in the picture.
Okay, so all right, let me come. Let me fix up myself, right? That's better.
You being cute in the
Let me
video.
fix up myself, right? That's better.
Yes. Oh gosh, that's good. That's great.
All right, cool.
It's good to have you on, Simeon. I know you're here to talk about something so super. Simeon, I know you're booked and bothered because you are definitely the man to go to when you think of events, especially of a certain standard. And last year you came on to discuss with us a little bit about this new initiative that was taken on in an effort to raise funds for the completion of the Catholic church, that's the cathedral, the Rosa Cathedral.
Right.
And you're back again. And I suspect I want to start first of all by finding out about last year, because y'all never come back and give me the story on last year. So how was last year? What was
Jael, oh my God, it's good that we start in that way because it's because of last year we're having this year, right? And last year was just fantastic. And to use a word that people used was fantabulous. I think you coined that word sometime.
Fabulous.
Yeah, it was fantastic and fabulous at the same time. So we say fantabulous, right?
Yes.
And Jael, we're having it this year because at the end of last year, when it was supposed to be a one-time event, a one-shot event, you could say over 90% of the patrons said, this cannot be a one-time thing. You guys have to do it again because they enjoy the food, they enjoy the music, they enjoy the atmosphere, they enjoy the vibes, they enjoyed everything about it. Then people say, well, hey, I don't know. As a matter of fact, quite a few of our patrons last year said, listen, I don't normally go out, right? But I'm happy that this thing is cut, tailored, suited for me. That's my kind of event. I can go out, I can meet people, I can enjoy, I can chat, I can see various things. I am getting a repertoire on stage that is just diverse and all of that. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it took us some time to do our evaluation. And then because the vibes between the event and our evaluation was of a certain time span. And between that time span, everybody was saying, yes, let's do it. Let's make it an annual event. And so we're here this year again because of that such positive, overwhelming feedback that we're going to do it again. And also because we want to continue pursuing all efforts to renovate this historic building in Roseau. You know what I mean?
I
Um,
think the important question is, did you guys raise funds last year? Because
yes.
I know to establish events, or to create events, sometimes people say, they make money, but there are
Yeah.
expenses that come with
Well,
events.
well, well, actually,
Management.
Jill, that's a double whammy question, because I want to begin by saying maybe that's the only event in Dominica that's for a fundraising activity, really, when you look at it, right? A lot of other events that happen in Dominica. The question is, what happens to the profits? This one, we know where it's going. Okay. And so we did raise a significant amount of money last year because it's tailored in such a way that we raise funds as well as the vendors who come on board also get an opportunity to gain some income. So it was a win-win situation for everybody. We were happy that all our chefs came on board and were quite generous and cooperative. All our artists, all our performers, everybody who participated. First of all, we had very minimal costs in terms of labor and everything. And everybody who partnered with us were quite generous, were quite understanding, and sometimes very charitable in ensuring that we achieved our objective. I can say we raised a decent sum last year, and we're satisfied. It was the first time, and I know, Jael, there are many events in Dominica that I have been part of where the first one, it was
The
creeping.
flop. Oh, the first one is tight.
Exactly. And so we're quite satisfied, and given the fact that we know that we had a good enough turnout. This year we're hoping to double that. We had well over 1,000 people last year. This year I hope we can get 3,000 to 4,000 people in the park. And I'm hoping all those who were there last year who said, let's do it again this year, all right, they bring 2, 3 people with them because we're satisfying their what do you call it now, their request. We're
Quenching their
satisfying
thirst.
their exactly. So if it was so good for them last year, they have to ensure that they bring people on board so that they can experience what they experienced last year.
Wonderful. Some folks may be just joining on, and for the first time they were in, but Kisa Jael Simeon Kapali, de Monkey de La Power. What are they talking about there? Right. So we're talking about flavors of the world, but
Right.
before we even get into talking about the event, I want to get an understanding for people who are new. This is their first time here. Because last year when you came on the show, right,
Mhm.
I had 45,000 followers.
Wow.
This year, I have 85,000 followers
Tonight,
as of tonight.
tonight on this program, so can you imagine if we get at least, let me see, 10% of those people?
If we get 10%,
8,500.
I mean, hello, right? So people might be on here wondering to themselves, what are they talking about? Or what is flavors of the world? Or what does that have to do with me?
Right.
Can you share with us why this event was even created to begin with?
Right. So this event was created with the mindset of, first of all, as we said, raising funds for the historic Rosa Cathedral, for the renovation of that historical building, which is very much part of the Dominican architectural, historical, social, religious, and cultural landscape. Right. It's not just a structure. It's not just a building of stone.
I was going to, I was going to tell you. Somebody might say, but what is the point now? Like they raise in
Yeah.
front.
Well, hey,
I'm glad that you brought that up.
Jail, let's face it, if you go to most major cities and civilizations around the world, history is integral to tourism. History is integral to social development. History is integral to people knowing about a place. And I'm not sure if many Dominicans are aware, but the Cathedral of Roseau is almost synonymous with the history of Dominica. You understand what I'm telling you? Because of how far it goes back, because of who was involved in the construction, because of all the things that have happened there. We have, for instance, when you go to Belgium and Rome and Holland and France and Spain and Portugal, you go to these countries, you go to the United Kingdom, and you visit the cathedrals of old, they are laden with elements of the history of the country. Okay, that's why in some countries cathedrals are not even owned by the church. For instance, the Notre Dame in Paris is not owned by the Catholic Church, it's owned by the government of France, because they realize the cultural and historical potential that holds for the history of France and the development of the civilization of the French people. Similarly for the Rosa Cathedral. And so we could have said, okay, let it go to rot, let it crumble, it's just a building. But no, when you survey the building in its entirety, and you realize one, just on the outside, every stone in that cathedral was cut by hand by local craftsmen, right? By pioneering Dominican contractors. How many people today can cut stone so exact in such a perfect manner to
I haven't
construct?
cut dumplings so exactly like
Exactly.
custard.
Right, exactly. And so that is part of it. And then there are families in Dominica whose heritage through their grandparents can be attributed to just the outside wall of the cathedral. You understand what
Wow.
I'm telling you? Because generations were involved in that.
Mhm.
Also, in the cathedral, we have many prominent Dominicans who are buried there. One of the oldest painters, Agostino Brunei, is the Italian painter who painted many scenes of Dominican culture and history, is buried at the cathedral. Okay. We also have to know that
But Simeon, you didn't tell me that last year.
no,
Every
well,
second
that,
year you
that
put
was
in a lesson. You come in here, you put it on your teacher's hat, your principal hat. I thought you retired, Simeon. You put
well,
it on.
one never retires from passing on information and
Ah,
education, right? Because we have to share. As a matter of fact, Jael, the only one of the two oldest organs in the Western Hemisphere is part of the Rosa Cathedral. The other one is in Canada. So the organ in
wow,
the cathedral is the second oldest organ in the Western Hemisphere.
I did
Okay.
not know that.
Yeah, exactly. And so, and yeah, because it was that's it. Then we also have the old pulpit that was in the cathedral, is a gift from Cayenne. It was brought over from Cayenne. And do you know, Jael, that a lot of the old lumber that was used for the construction of the cathedral was transported to Roseau all at the top of the east coast of Dominica down the west coast and brought into thing. No, it's called the Cathedral of Notre Dame de Beauport. And in the olden days, when people were being coming to Roseau without the roads, there were no roads at the time, and people would traverse all through the southern tip of Dominica into Roseau and through the northern tip. They would land. Originally, the original front of the cathedral was facing all the way down Church Street. So you know where Wesley High School is, and Macmillan Service Station, and
Yes.
the old market going all the way there. And they would the farmers and the fishermen, and so that's why there was an old port, an old stone that was there next to the cruise ship berth some time ago. They would land there and they walk all the way up that street to the cathedral. So I mean, lots of history to the cathedral. We also have some of the oldest stained glass windows in the Caribbean, handcrafted as part of the cathedral. This the Stations of the Cross is another ancient thing for the cathedral. So we're restoring history. And these are just the religious objects. But when you talk about the number of cultural activities that have taken place at the cathedral over history, if Lennox Honey Church were there tonight, we would not go home and other Dominican historians. We are also mindful of the fact that, and even I'm not sure if you're aware, but part of the history of Dominica is painted on the round part of the stained glass windows of the cathedral. And that is depicted right there. So we needed to restore it, not just for Catholics or for Christians, but for Dominicans, for generations to come.
Mhm.
Because if you are to read about the cathedral, you would be in awe of what that building stands for. And so unfortunately, 20 years ago, there was a realization that the roof of the cathedral was completely termite ridden, a disaster waiting to happen, to fall on people in the church. And when they went into the ceiling of the cathedral, they had to immediately make a decision to replace just the roof of the cathedral. Just the roof of the cathedral. That was the initial intention. Now,
Mm-hmm.
when they went there and they decided to remove the roof of the cathedral, one of the things they found out first and foremost was that the covering of the cathedral was made out of asbestos stones. And so we couldn't just remove it like that because it was a major health hazard. So the whole cathedral had to be almost domed, covered around, because one, you have St. Mary's Academy nearby, you have Convent High School nearby, we have Wesley High School nearby, you have hundreds of, basically thousands of people living around the cathedral. So the whole cathedral had to have that protective covering so that these asbestos roofing tiles could be removed one by one and disposed with very safely. That was a very major cost. Oh, Jael, that was no. When they thought they had taken out the covering and they had taken out the roof and they were going to realize, hey, the cathedral has no support structure because it was just stone and stone. And there was hardly any foundation. And now
So when it comes to like the code of the code, the building
oh
code.
no, in those days. And then when you know those big pillars in the cathedral, those things were just standing there. So the entire cathedral had to be gutted. The entire flooring had to be replaced. And the support structure for the roofing had to be rebuilt with pillars within the original stone walls. So that is what escalated the renovation of the cathedral. People are saying, oh, it's going on so long, but most people do not aware.
Because one thing I suspect you in my head, because you know I was going to tell you, but so long that cathedral cabin.
Right.
I
Because,
mean,
right. Most
I'm
people,
glad that you're able
right.
to do
And
that.
understandably so, because most people were not aware. But here it's not just a roof. It was jail. Let me tell you something. It would have been better to knock it down and construct a whole new building. But if we had done that, we'd be throwing away history. And we realize that a
I
lot
have
of
a
history.
question for you, and I think I asked you that question last year.
Mhm.
Because somebody might say, boy, the Vatican have so much gold. Why the Vatican not helping
And that's a
with
very, I know, and that is a legitimate. The Vatican has helped. I'll tell you that. The Vatican has given its own, but jail. Let me tell you, there are over 20,000 or more, 50,000 Catholic churches in the world. Okay, there are various Catholic organizations. I'm not sure if Dominicans are aware, but the Catholic Church alone around the world owns over 30,000 hospitals to take care of, over 100,000 schools and educational institutions, many centers and everything. So people are thinking that it's just a building. No, I mean for means of reason and everything. Hey, we are the ones who use the cathedral. We are the ones who are buried at the cathedral. We are the ones who get it's Dominicans are the ones who benefit from the cathedral, not the people in Rome. And there are hundreds and thousands of all over the world. People are taking care of their history and their heritage and the mentality that the Catholic Church is universal. Think of the church places in Africa, for instance, Jesus, Jael, where there are no churches. People are still celebrating on the trees and those kind of things there. So I mean, they have to go by need. And so, but I'll tell you something, Jael. Out of the 11,000 or so $1 million that has been raised for this cathedral, do you know that over 85% of that has been raised by Dominicans? Hats off to
wonderful.
us. Hats off to us. Dominicans for their generosity, for the fundraising effort, and we're proud to say that it's something to celebrate.
Before you get too much into the celebration part of it,
Mhm.
I wanted to say we were talking about Rome. I see you was in Rome the other day. I say, but how of all the hundreds of thousands of people that go and see the
The
Pope,
camera showing on me.
cameras sit down on you.
I don't know.
What
I
was
don't
that
know.
experience like?
Well, it was first of all, it was my fifth time to Rome. It was my third time in the encounter. I made John Paul II
I met him too.
in February 1986. I also met
No, that was John Paul. That was no, that wasn't John Paul.
yeah, I also met Pope Benedict. I was also in audience with Pope Francis when Cardinal Felix was made a cardinal in
Look at
St.
that.
Peter because I was part of the delegation to that. But I happened to be there because of the company that I work with. and we were providing audiovisual for NBC News. So my team went over, and after they set up, I just had time. So the day for the election, I just said, well, let me go and start. And I was interacting with seminarians from Colombia. We were just there chatting and chatting and chatting and chatting, because we didn't expect the Pope to be elected so soon. Normally, there are 3 or 4 rounds of election.
Yes,
And
yes.
so that
That process
afternoon,
is so interesting because I
yeah,
watched an entire documentary on that process. I also read a book about it and how, they have to go and cast a vote, and then when it's done, they have to let go something and it's smoke every time.
right. So I happened to be there just 5 minutes before the smoke came out. And I just said, we stand up there chatting. And the next thing, while I was there chatting, the smoke came out. And then we were just in jubilation that the smoke came out. And then it just so happened that when the smoke came out, a few of us were ushered up front because I had my badge and everything further up from where we were. So I moved up to the first bar right behind maybe where the cardinals and the priests would be, and I was there. And I just said, okay, fine. And I told the other Colombian and told, let's go because, and that was it. And I went there, and the next thing I seen myself on TV. As a matter of fact, I didn't know I was on TV.
People screenshotting for you, not to
My
Dominican.
phone going beep 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 beep,
Yeah,
beep, beep, and then I'm saying all of a sudden, my sister, I say, well, what is that? And that was the experience like. So I mean, that's just how it
Well,
is. But I mean,
I couldn't let you pass without giving
no,
that.
well, I'm good. But we're here. I'm glad to share that as
Yes.
as
But
an
it connects
experience of faith.
directly with the church
Yeah,
because we're talking about Rome
right. As an
and the
experience
fact
of
that Rome.
faith and
Yes.
faith journey and everything and that kind
Yes.
of thing. And then, of course, it's because of that I'm able to say, well, okay, wow, when you go to Europe and you see all those grand cathedrals and you see what the benefits, the economic, social benefits to countries with those cathedrals, we cannot allow our cathedral to die. Because
Right.
let me tell you something, Jill, I'm not sure if you are aware, but when the cathedral, before it was went into renovation. Are you aware that every cruise ship that comes to Dominica, there are hundreds of tourists who visit the cathedral?
Well, that is the case around the world
Right,
because even I'm not, I don't consider myself specifically to be a Catholic.
right.
When I go to countries, I go to visit the Catholic churches because
Yeah,
I want to see. I've gone to St. Lucia,
yeah.
I've gone to multiple places, and it's
Yeah, the
not because I want.
architecture, the
I just find
architecture.
it so
Right.
intriguing
Yeah,
and
yeah,
interesting, and as you mentioned, it has a lot of cultural,
yeah.
historic
Right,
value
right,
to it. So I
right.
visited because I'm a history enthusiast. So
Exactly,
I
the
do that,
architecture, the history, and there are many over the course of the years. There have been many students of art who have
Mhm.
come to Dominica to study the cathedral, and across the region as well, and Europe. You
Well,
know,
based on what you say in there, even about the organ, like why wouldn't they not? Like
right?
it
Exactly.
is it is
And
something to have to go back and brag about. Like
yeah,
I went
yeah.
to if you're a pianist or if you're a painter or if
Or someone studying musicology or
right.
music history,
Yeah.
then you have the opportunity. If you want to go and you want to study, for instance, the how do you call it now, the construction of stained glass windows. I'm not sure if you are aware, Jael, but in the Caribbean as well, we have one of the most beautiful cathedrals. I'm not sure if you are aware of that as well.
And that
Other
has to be stained glass.
Right. Pardon. Each cathedral. No, because of the architecture, because of the origin of the work, because of the structure, and because of the historicity of the building itself. So when most times when people enter, you go to if you go to the cathedral, for instance, in Jamaica, it's very modern. You go to the cathedral of Barbados, it's not so, it's semi-modern. You go to the cathedral of Port of Spain, which is the oldest diocese, in it's not so ornate as our cathedral. So you go to Antigua, it's very extremely modern. You go to St. Thomas, you go to they're extremely our cathedral in Dominica is paramount as far as history is concerned, in terms of the architecture, in terms of the relation to epochs in history, in terms of the use of material that dates back to hundreds of years, in terms of elements of the cathedral that were constructed with material that can nowadays hardly be found. And not only that, so that kind of thing. And not only that, when you study the history of how some of those things were brought to Dominica, it's enough because the engineering, communication, all of those things. So it's a great study that we have. It's a treasure. It's a
Wow.
national treasure
Thank you
that
very
that
much,
we
Simeon,
continue.
for sharing that with us, and sharing that with our my listeners and viewers. I'm sure they've learned a lot. I learned last year. You came and you and Father Karam, it was you guys taught me so much, and this year again we're gonna have to put these shows at the top of the page so people can go back and listen. Because it's history that we all
Yeah,
should be interested in, not necessarily from a religious perspective, but
right,
more as a people. And then there emerges Flavors of the World, which
right,
is an event that is created around the raising of funds
right, right,
for the
right.
actual completion of the cathedral. So Flavors of the World touches on chefs coming in from all parts of the world. Can you give us a sneak peek into the types of cuisine
I want to give you
that
more than a sneak peek, Jael, because synonymous with church is community, right? And church exists to strengthen community, right? And the term flavors of the world is embroidered in all of that, because when you think of flavors and you think of community, a community is made up of many different dimensions, different people, different tastes, different lifestyles. So that's part of the flavors, which leads into appetite, because once people come together, what brings people together more? Because if you relate it to scripture, Christ commanded us to always meet to break bread whenever we meet. So
there were five
synonym,
loaves and
right,
two fish,
exactly.
and all of those? Yes.
Right. So synonym of with Christianity is the feeding of people, and so that is how this whole thing is related in terms of an overall, you could say, eclectic understanding of church, of appetite, of culture. And so flavors of the world is just that. We are bringing together, and the universality as well of our experience as God's people. So when you look at that, we say, oh, together, let us bring create an avenue where people can come together, where they can socialize, where they can commune, and not just eat food and have a good time and go home. That's different. So it's not a food festival, really. It's really a cuisine, an experience of cuisine, international cuisine, where people are able to indulge their palate, their taste, their appetite into indulging in various elements of food from around the world. So, Jael, we're going to have, of course, food from Dominica. Okay, we cannot leave out our food from Dominica, right? We have Chinese cuisine. Okay, I'm going to say again. Lots of people talking about Chinese food, but there's a difference between eating Chinese food and indulging in Chinese authentic,
Listen,
genuine
listen,
Chinese cuisine. There's fried rice
listen.
and there's Chinese fried rice.
Chinese
You
cuisine,
have to
right?
understand that. So you go, that is it. So it's not just Chinese food, it's Chinese cuisine.
Like you ever
Then
eat a Chinese food? Listen, I've eaten Chinese food, Chinese cuisine, like authentic Chinese food. And after you finish eat, you want to eat and you want to eat and you want to eat and you want to eat
exactly,
and you want to eat.
exactly.
And the smell is just like it
It's
just
different.
envelopes you. It's just so
Different.
different.
It's very captivating. And
Yes.
then we also going to have Indian cuisine, and like the Chinese and the Indians, they are coming in. The Indians are coming in full force. You could say the
Wow.
army of chefs to give us again genuine Indian cuisine. You say roti is Trinidadian. It's Trinidad Indian, but we have Indian from the Far East, Indian
Mhm,
cuisine. You understand? And as I
mhm.
tell people, Jail, as I tell people, to get authentic Chinese and Indian cuisine, you either have to jump on the Chinese aircraft or an Indian aircraft, fly to England, and then fly to China to get
China.
it. But it's coming to meet you right here in Dominica. Okay.
Wow.
Then we have African cuisine. This year we have a taste of
Somebody tell me they're coming for fufu.
fufu. And the popular thing is jollof rice. Now we having a chef of what you call it now, an award-winning chef this year. An African chef is an award-winning chef this year, and they're coming to us. And then we have Venezuelan. The Venezuelans are among us, and then we have Cuban, we have Haitian, we have American. Now, when I talk about American, I'm talking about Chick-fil-A and Wendy's. And no, 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 no.
Grits,
We're not talking about
grits,
that. We're talking about Southern American
like
food, not the soul.
Louisiana soul food,
Exactly, Jail. That's what I'm saying.
cornbread.
That's what we have here. And I'm not going to say the name, but I'm going to encourage Dominicans to come and anticipate the two desserts that will be presented by our Southern American chef in their stall. I've seen it, I've seen the menu, and it's something I've tasted in Louisiana myself, and I can tell somebody, mine gel, I don't buy all of it and go at my home with it because I would want to eat all of it. you know, and
What is
then
not for you? What's there to share?
yes, and then we have Jamaican joining us this year. So we have a Jamaican chef who's coming to join us. So it's like a global culinary journey as we go through these 9 mouth-watering cuisines all in one place, you know. So it's like
Wow.
a global coming together of food, of cuisines, of taste, of appetite, all in one place at Flavors of the World on Sunday.
This year, you guys have actually included the inaugural culinary competition, and you partnered
Exactly.
with Archipelago Wines and Spirit. What
Yes.
actually inspired this edition, and what can we really expect from it?
Okay, well, you see, every year we sort of expand our support base in terms of our sponsorship. And I would like to first pause and stick a pin and say Archipelago Trading came on big time with us this year. Hats off to them. We're very grateful to them that as a company, they have seen the vision, they have bought into the dream, and they have come out as a pillar of support to us this year. And so they are a platinum sponsor this year. And in partnering with them, they made the proposal, hey, let's bring a new dimension to that. So hats off to them. So we have what you call a live culinary competition, where 5 of our chefs will be involved in, they will go, and they're talented chefs, say they're not just
So, so who's doing the tasting? Because I just want to taste.
Jael. So it's a kind of, it's going to be
I
like
just want to taste. I want to be a judge.
thrilling showdown, right? Which will be powered by our platinum sponsor, I said, Archipelago Trading and Wines and Spirit, and they will unleash their creativity only at Flavors of the World. So the competition will start basically about 4 o'clock, and once the patrons and everybody will be able to see them as they go through their different booths preparing that meal, and then we will bring it to a location whereby we will have qualified chefs, okay, right?
Let me tell
One
you.
Dominic.
Girl, let me tell you, chefs is not chef salon that doesn't know how food tastes. Let us eat food. Foodies that also know what I want to be a judge.
So maybe we can have you as the blindfolded judge then.
I want to be a judge. Listen, I want to taste.
Right, so then they come in and
I
they'll be
want to taste
tasting,
and
and then
see that the Lord is good.
we'll reveal who the winner is. So, or they're going to shrimp can be something that is very bland, right? Because how there's you basically blanch it, it becomes red, and you do whatever. But shrimp is going to be the one of the each chef will prepare 2 dishes. Every one of them has to do shrimp and another of the products that, and then it will be tasted, and then we decide who the winner is.
Oh,
And
I
the
love
winner,
it. I love it. I love
yes,
that new
yes,
edition.
yes.
I love that new.
That's going to be on board with us this year. Yeah, man.
How does the festival balance showcasing international cuisine while also celebrating Dominican food culture? Because you talk about all of these different, chefs from around the world will be coming. How exactly are you celebrating Dominican
Well,
culture?
we have a Dominican chef, right? And we have a Dominican chef, and we have 2 local chefs, by the way. We have a chef who will be doing our indigenous cassava based appetite, okay, in various forms. And then, so that will be, and then we have another, for instance, one of our Dominican chefs is going to present something called belly rice. Have you heard of belly rice,
Yes,
Jill?
I've actually had it.
Okay, great. So that's going to come on board because we have all kind of rice, right? And so we have belly rice and a lot of other Dominican delicacies. But we also have an infusion of Dominican culture, because part of Flavors of the World is not only about cuisine, it's also about music, it's also about culture, it's also about sharing of artists from other parts of the world, it's also about celebrating our local artists. So it's all of that. So, and that is why we're telling people, I mean, Flavors of the World is really something for everybody to come to. So we have our Dominican culture. I mean, it's at the Independence will open the day before. And of course, we cannot start Flavors of the World without focusing on Dominica. So Dominica is the hub from which all of the flavors will flow. You understand what I'm telling you? We are the source. With the land of 365 rivers, and every river starts with a little trinkle and a little source somewhere going down to the wider stream. So we're starting with Dominica as the source of our cultural presentations. We'll be having 3 or maybe 4 Dominican groups, indigenous cultural groups, opening up the performance. And then after that, we go into our presentations from our Indians. We have an Indian singer coming in from India. And Jael, this year, our Chinese...
Bollywood style.
Last year we had a Chinese singer. This year, we have a Chinese martial artist. Okay, now we're not talking about the animated make-believe.
No anime, no kia.
Right, exactly. It's the man will be doing genuine, real Chinese martial arts performing on stage. All right,
so
that exactly.
Hey.
And then we have, of course, Africa, and then we've been representing my Mary Pascal and the dancers. So we have a display of African presentation in music and dance and song. We have Lily Octave, who's an up-and-coming Dominican artist who, I wouldn't say up-and-coming again, because
I wouldn't say up-and-coming. I was about to tell you.
The woman commands the stage. She knows what she's about. She has a voice that resounds through all the planets and everything, and then she will just dominate the universe with a powerful presentation on Sunday. Then we have a Dominican star, Michael Henderson. I mean, who doesn't like to hear Michael Henderson? I mean, when Michael sings, she brings down the angels from heaven. And Dominicans should come to see that. And Michael, when you see, I always say, one of the remarkable things about Michael is that she's so petite, but her voice resonates of 200 like her. You remember, where that girl getting that little voice? Where that little girl getting that kind of a voice from? And I think, yeah, man, we have to celebrate. I mean, Jael, I look at many international shows and many singers from overseas, you know, and much ado about nothing, you know. When you listen to Michael Henderson, there's no doubt, Jael, it's not because she's Dominican or she's going to be that woman is far above and beyond any of those big stars we are hearing. I bet you, if you put Rihanna, if you put Mariah Carey, if you put, what is this other one again, all of them on a stage together, the world will be stunned by Michael Henderson, because she has a powerful voice. That girl voice echoes, Jael. And we're bringing her to our people at Flavors of the World. Then we have a French, Zouk French artist, because again, we crossing the waters in terms of language. So we have a Zouk French artist by the name of David from Martinique, who's coming and gracing our stage with a new voice, a new sound in Zouk music. So he'll be there with us. And then we have our nice surprise element where we have Calypso. Calypso is not only something for
people love the Calypso segment.
Yes, and that last year that was and mark your Jael, last year it was just trial and error, but now it has become a staple. So our Calypso will be doing a current Calypso and a heritage Calypso. Okay, and that's what they'll be doing to bring people back in time to enjoy the whole atmosphere and the whole ambience. Because you know, sometimes people can feel Calypso has no place in certain places. Calypso has a place in Calypso is part of our culture. It's part of our history. You know, it's part.
I have a question for you. I have a question for you about me. If I had to sing a Calypso song, which Calypso song would you give me?
For you, knowing your character and knowing your moves, the one by singing Sandra, Die With My Dignity. I can see you performing that here.
I'm making a note.
Or if it's soca, I would give you Who the Hell Is Kim. Shall I? So maybe next year we can put you as a surprise guest artist. Yeah, I can
Bon
see
pate
you.
di sa pou sa. Okay? Pa try sa. Pa
So
try sa.
our Calypsonians are Joy, our reigning Calypso monarch, Shanice,
Yeah.
she's on, Webb, and Sai. Okay, so then we have
Wonderful.
Calypsonians, and then we crowning it up with Swinging Star. So I mean, Jael, I mean, in all fairness, our patrons who are coming to Flavors of the World can be guaranteed that they're going to get a thrilled day of between 2 and 9. That
Yes,
it
I
could
was about
be.
to ask you what
Mhm.
time does the event? So we need to know time, we need to know cost, we need
Yeah,
to know because I know you guys last year, I remember you guys had packaged your pricing where you
yeah. I'm going to talk about all of that.
so
But
tell me about
before I talk about the pricing, there's a lot more, that's going to happen on Sunday,
that. More?
Jael. We have a dedicated kids zone.
Wow.
The parents who are there enjoying the festival can entrust their kids with our family life secretariat. We have a group of people, and they will be getting bouncing castle, they'll be getting bubble house, they'll be getting basketball, they'll be getting art, they'll be getting food, they'll be getting drinks and ice cream. We know kids love ice cream, or children love ice cream, and there's a farm to table element, as well as we have some presentation with international IOM. Then
Yes.
we take care of our youth, those who are not kids. We have multiverse, we have a multiverse
Multiverse.
gaming zone for the young guys. They don't like
Bar
to be
and all
bothered,
of
like to be
that.
active, and they just get active, that kind of thing. So again, you bring them, all right? And then we have prizes and giveaways. I would like our patrons to know that Sunrise Airways will be giving away one airline ticket to a lucky winner to anywhere in the Caribbean that Sunrise Airways flies to. You understand what I'm telling you? So, Jael, I mean, it's just
What
amazing.
about sunrise?
Uh-huh.
Yes. Yeah, I glad you remind me of sunrise.
Right. So then, Jael, our pricing package is 4 tier. First, we have the general admission, which is $100. Okay, and when you pay $100, you're not just giving us $100. You're going to get 4 cheap tickets when you give us your $100. So you pay $100, you get entry into the
Event.
space, the event space, and you're getting 4 festival currencies where you can use to purchase your food or your cuisine from any of the bars on the grounds. Okay, so
Okay.
you're getting back, and that's it. We have as well our youth price of $50 because we recognize a lot of young people, and that is those between 12 and 17, the
Mhm.
high school students, the young people who are between that age. You come in, you pay $50, and you still get 2 festivals currency, okay, where they can go and sample or get this, of any food that they want. And we have the kids price of $20. Now you see what I'm giving in the kids zone. So they come in into the space and they're getting $20, and we're offering them all those things for their $20. Because why? It's a family affair. But then the part of what we have, what you call a special elevated experience. Some people don't like to say VIP. So it's a special elevated, and really in church you don't have VIP. We're all God's people. So you can call it a special elevated experience, aka VIP.
Okay.
Right? What you will be getting there is $250 you'll be paying for that. Okay. And what you're going to get, hey, you're going to get a welcome signature drink.
On entry.
You're going to get a wine tasting on entry, even
Hey,
before you sit down and you begin to enjoy the VIP. You're also going to get 2 rounds of meals. So you get a first round of food and a second round of food. So you're not getting 1 plate of food. Okay, you're getting 2 rounds. And in the VIP will be, you're going to have appetites of all the countries that would be on the grounds. In addition to which, with every plate of food that you'll be enjoying, you'll be getting a free glass of wine of your choice. Okay, based on what is available on the wine list. but we have
Mm.
an extensive wine list. I told you last night, Jael, we had our meeting and we went through our wine list, right? And I can tell you, we had about 5 pages and about 6 people sitting around a table. I'm discussing which wine to pick, wine from where, what wine, whether it's Infandel, whether it's this, whether it's that, whether it's that,
Yeah.
just to make sure that we satisfy our patrons with a wonderful array of supply of various
All
wine.
righty.
Exactly. And so that's it. In addition to which, they're going to be getting juice unlimited, okay, as well as infused water. So, Jael, that's what they'll be getting in VIP. Plus, they'll be getting what you call it, dedicated line of sight view to the stage. And of course, they have their own bar where they will be able to go and purchase any extra drinks when they are. Our VIP will be managed by an experienced, qualified, trained crew and good extensive staffing, so people don't have to be waiting. You know, when you go to VIP, you don't have to be waiting in line. VIP is not only about food and drink. VIP is about experience, right? It's about the whole ambience of the hospitality that you gain. So we don't people in VIP having to stand up in a line like they're waiting for, like they're hungry. No, no, no. You have the option of going to the buffet or being served at table. You understand what I'm telling you? So that's your VIP experience, and they have their whole cordon of section where they can go up and down and have immediate access to the stage. They have their own dedicated entry and all that kind of thing. So overall, Jael, we'll be having coconut water on sale. We'll be having lots of other attractions and activities, as well as appetites for people as they come onto the grounds at Flavours of the World on Sunday to participate in the second edition of our Flavours of the World.
Wow. I was just checking the comments. Folks are commenting. People send me messages. Like they're not sharing it live, but they want me to ask their question. Share it live. When you share it live, I ask you a question.
Before 85,000 views. I really hope we got at least 10% of that people. I
At
want
least.
food to run out. I want drink to run out. I want the forecourt to
least.
be too small. We
At least.
want the forecourt to be too small. We want
Right.
people to make noisy first because the place is too small. So next year we're going on the main grounds of the stadium.
Where can folks purchase their tickets?
Oh, certainly, right. So they can purchase their tickets at Dipex, Bullseye, Next Connects, or the Presbytery office. Okay. And that's where they can purchase their tickets. We're hoping, and I would just like to tell you, Jael, that for a limited time, perhaps ending before Friday or Saturday, we have a 10% discount on groups of 4 and more.
Okay.
So you, Jael, your 2 friends, what you call your 2 bomb tag, or you want to go, or you can group up together. Instead of paying $100 per person, you get 10% discount, and you still that's in the general admission, and you still get the opportunity to get everything that you would have gotten even with your 10% discount. You understand what I'm telling you? So we have that as well, and hopefully people will take advantage of that as they come and participate and enjoy in all what will be given them at Flavours of the World. Yeah.
What do you think would be your long-term hopes for Flavours of the World? Do you see this expanding regionally or even internationally?
I think so, Jael, because you see the whole philosophy of Flavours of the World is about integration, okay? Is about knowing about others, is about expanding our openness to receiving others. I mean, it is global world. I just hoping that maybe it could become something where, and I'm hoping that in the future, maybe next year, we can have about 2 or 3 boats, the ferry coming in on the Sunday from Guadeloupe and Martinique just for Flavours of the World, organizing a special charter where they could come at 1 and leave at 9 in the night. You understand what I'm telling you? Because it's a Sunday, so they can be back at work in Guadeloupe and Martinique. That's how you give it, and I think we can market it there. And now with all these airlines coming to Dominica, people from St. Thomas now have direct flights to Dominica. So what is it? Is it Condor Airlines or what? Condor Airlines can say, okay, we are arranging a flight at 12 o'clock on Sunday to come to Dominica just for Flavors of the World, and you can fly back. We have night landing now, and
Eh,
very soon we'll have our international airport, so we can capitalize on all of that. Jael, this is why we're doing all of this. This is not just, as I said, a fundraiser. It is an opportunity for families to come together, for friends to come together. Because look at the amount of elderly people who can come to a festival like that who will not be able to go to all the other parties and festivals and fests that are taking place all over Dominica. Look at the number
facts.
of young people between 7 and 12 who cannot go out at night and still participate in something like that. And people who just don't want to go to who just don't want to go to some of the other festivals where maybe the noise is a little bit, the noise level is a little bit too high, the ambience is not to their liking, the atmosphere and the appetites are not things that they want to indulge in. So we have an opportunity. I always say, Jael, listen to this. There are 60, 65, 70,000 people in Dominica. Okay? Right. In any event in Dominica,
I
I'm
not
not
agree with you, but okay.
whatever the population is, forgetting the total number of the population.
Mhm.
There must be about 3 to 5,000 people who on average would go to an event except Creole Festival. Yes or no? And Carnival. People go to the streets for Carnival, people go to Creole Festival. Jazz
Facts.
and Creole maybe just have 3,000 people. The question we have to ask is, where do the other 50, 60,000 people go?
They stay home and Kali.
Exactly. And so we need to create events for people who don't want to go to come on a Sunday afternoon with the family, where families can go. There are not many activities in Dominica where families can go together. Okay. I mean, groups of friends can maybe go to jazz and Creole and other things like that, but it creates an environment and an atmosphere where you get that kind of nice, I would say, cuddly environment where you can come, you can enjoy food, you can enjoy music, you can enjoy culture, you get to know about other countries, you get to know about appetite and palates from other countries, you get to know about people, you sit, you chat. Imagine we are even insisting that we have bleachers, so those who don't want to stand up under the stage can sit down on the side and just have a conversation, reminisce, pound a good Beth, that kind of thing. And that's what we have. So we have our bleachers at the different sections. We have what you call a chill zone, where people can just stand up under that and just check their vibes and chat and that kind of thing, etc. One of the things we like to say, though, I want to say tonight, is no vendors will be allowed on Bath Road or Kennedy Avenue or Hillsborough Street on Sunday. Okay, we particularly requested, sometimes when there are things at stadium, people like to come and set up tent outside the stadium. We're politely requesting that everybody give us a chance to raise funds, give us a chance. And what we can even say, well, okay, fine, and maybe next year there might be an opportunity for them to be part of this thing because it's going to grow, and we like to be inclusive. We don't want to be exclusive. We want to be inclusive to make sure everybody is considered, everybody can become part of it, because it is becoming that. When you look at what we had last year compared to what we have this year, we can see we have a 40% improvement in overall involvement and inclusion of people from different backgrounds, different styles, different tastes, and different needs. You know what I mean?
If somebody wasn't sure why they should come to this event, what's one reason you tell them that they simply cannot miss the
When you
2025?
Well, you've said it in a way, they just cannot miss it, because this is an opportunity for one, for you to taste food that you will not be able to taste until you come next year. You can't go to China to get authentic Chinese cuisine. Of course, we
Unless
have
you decide to travel there.
we have in India, etc. Do we have a Venezuelan restaurant in Dominica?
Yeah.
Do we have an Indian restaurant in Dominica? Do we have an American soul food restaurant in Dominica?
No.
And most of our Dominican restaurants, most of them cook the same thing.
All of them could practically cook the same thing.
Exactly. So, I mean, this is an opportunity to come and experience something that you would not experience on an ordinary day in your life in Dominica, or on an ordinary time during the year in Dominica. I mean, Jail, I've traveled. I like food. I like cuisine. I like everything. But I can tell you, for instance, if we have to go, for instance, if I have to go to China now, how much is a ticket to China? $5,000 plus, right? And
US.
all it's going to cost you on Sunday is $100 or $250.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm telling you. So, I mean, that's an opportunity for people. And not only that, get out of the house on a Sunday. Not that everybody is saying, Dominicans cry down where to go on a Sunday, what to do on a Sunday. Roso dread. Look at Roso dead. Hey, it's coming alive for you on Sunday. There is somewhere for you to go, something for you to do, something that is new and out of the ordinary. So stop complaining. Be thankful for the good things that you got, and something great and good is happening on Sunday. So come join us on Sunday. Find yourself, be part of that great happening, be part of that wider community, be part of the Dominican society. Make yourself part, and let's just, and that's perhaps an honor from that. That is maybe a spiritual dimension of bouillon.
Yes.
Everybody coming together, everything together. So we call that a Dominican bouillon pot of everybody coming together.
Bouillon.
A bouillon Dominican session.
Yes, yes. Simeon, I want to give an opportunity to folks who are on the live. If they have any questions, feel free to drop your questions. We're about to wrap up the show. I don't think we left anything unturned. Um,
No, thanks to
David,
you.
Simeon, you could mention it. I want to open up the floor to you for the final time. You can share your final words on Flavors of the World, which is carded for this coming Sunday, the 28th of September, at the Stadium Forecourt in Rosa from 2 p.m. until 9 p.m. If you have questions, drop your questions in the chat while Simeon is giving his final, and he can shoot the response. If you don't know the response, he'll get back in touch with you. Simeon,
Well,
he will come back and comment and respond.
Well, Joel, before I close, I must recognize our sponsors. We have
Yes.
some very generous sponsors who have come on board. We could not be doing as again. I want to mention Archipelago Trading. I want to mention Belfast Estates, H.H. Research, Jastifans and Company, Fine Foods Inc., International Organization of Migrants, Do It Center, Springfield Trading, AC Shillingford, Petro Carib, Josephine Gabriel and Company, Bullseye Pharmacy, Deepex Scholar Lab, Dominica Festivals Commission, and the Government of Dominica, the Stadium Authorities, DASPA, DBS Radio, Carry FM, Q95, Vibes Radio, MO News. I must say the media has been very kind to us this year, and they're really coming on board. Thanks to all of you, Jael, in that fraternity of the media, for your generosity and your overpouring of support that you give us. We could not have done this without you. And also I have to mention Brohim and also Moose Rentals as two people who have generously decided to support us in more ways than none. So I must be thankful to them there. So in closing, Jael, I just like to remind our Dominican public, our visitors who are here, that the world will be on your plate on Sunday at Flavors of the World, okay? For the second edition. We have 9 international cuisines that will be there for you. So we want you to come and be part of this experience. It's a family fun experience. It's a time when you can come and have some unforgettable cultural experience as well. And I'd like to tell people, Jael, that tickets are moving fast. Okay, tickets are moving very fast. So jump on board. Make sure you can, especially our VIP. That's almost close enough. So people, please come get your tickets. $250. You cannot go wrong on that. 100 general, 50 youth, and 20 young people. Come and get your tickets. And then, if we have to expend VIP, we will, but we want to make sure what we have sold out first, right? Because it's a wonderful experience as well as on the ground, just $100. Come on. Which other activity or event in Dominica lets you buy a ticket and still gives you food? Any
Right.
event you go to, you have to buy your drink, you have to buy your food. You're just paying bare bones for your entry. We're giving you back. And on top of that, we're giving you activities and amenities for you to sit down and enjoy. That's a wonderful package. So grab it, bring the whole family along, bring your neighbors along, and be part of this experience of Flavors of the World 2025. Taste, mingle, celebrate.
Charmaine says, I encourage everyone to attend. Last year was great. This year promises to be even better. She's locked in on YouTube and listening. Glenda Shillingford says, I'm late, but I'll look at a replay. Want to see me on Joseph. So folks are definitely excited for the event this coming Sunday. Somebody must send me a message. They say, Boche, I'm crazy. Jael and Simeon have lap hour. I have to respond to them, but I'll respond on it. You are my birthday twin, so that's why we have so much lap hour.
Exactly. You have to tell everyone on the same day, the same one.
Yes. Yes. So, Simeon, it was a pleasure having you on here with me again. for another, to discuss another flavors of the world. I want
Yeah.
to wish you guys all the best, you and the entire team, for putting this on. We know it's for a good cause, but in addition to that, you get to fill your belly with good food from all over the world. And I want to encourage folks to head out on Sunday and show their support in whatever shape or form. Get your tickets by Friday, so you have your tickets in advance. There are discounts on groups, so you can take advantage of that. Simeon, it was a pleasure having you on.
Always okay. And Jael, I'm excited that you're excited.
I'm excited. I'm excited. I'll also be covering the event, so
Oh yes,
I'm
thank
excited
you.
for that.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
All
So
right,
take
Jael.
care, guys. Take care to
Thank
you,
you.
Simeon. Thanks for coming.
Bye. All right.
All right. Bye bye. That was it for Flavors of the World. Flavors of the World joins us on this coming Sunday. You heard 9 different countries. That is going to be a blast, from Asian food, so that's Indian, Chinese food, Jamaican food, Venezuelan food, southern food, American southern food, and so much more. That's happening this coming Sunday at the Stadium Forecourt in Roseau, Dominica. See you guys there. Don't be late. Starts at 2, goes until 9 p.m. And there's this special culinary competition that goes down at 4. You don't want to miss that. Thanks again to those of you who tuned in, those of you who shared the live. I truly appreciate every single one of you. Special thank you very much to my sponsors, the National Cooperative Credit Union of Dominica, as well as Perky's Pizza. I'm saying good night, and I will be back. I believe I'm back tomorrow. I believe I'm back tomorrow evening. So stay tuned. Keep it locked to see who we have in studio. Who we have in studio tomorrow. Keep it locked. Thanks again to Simeon Joseph and the Flavors of the World gang for coming on here. We truly appreciate them. Until next time, good night.